back to the Booga Box live stream. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It's a wonderful Tuesday afternoon. A little hot here, but I hope you all are doing good. Trying to get everything set up here. Again, we're just going with a single cam. But I do want to thank everybody for being here. If you're going to join us live today, or if you show up later and watch some, or if you watch the video later that's saved, appreciate everybody dropping by. Don't forget to give the likes, thumbs up, shares, all that good stuff between all the different platforms on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. So today we're going to actually kind of show what it's going to be. We've been kind of putting it off. I wanted to get into it a little bit. You can see I got a little bit more done since we were here last Thursday. We're up on line 30. Yeah, we're getting ready to start line 30 now of 115. So definitely much more intense than I was planning on this project to be, because I miscalculated my time by quite a bit. We're about 26 hours right now, a little over a quarter of the way, so I'm looking at closer to near 100 hours on this one. Was not planning on that at all, so we're gonna go with it though and keep going. I've been averaging about little over 3 hours a day on it right now. There was a couple days I got like 2 hours, a couple days I got 4 hours, so it kind of, but we've only been on this, I was looking 9 days. I basically started on it last Sunday, so Sunday would have been 7, 8, 9. So we're 9, 10-ish days in there. So not doing too bad. After the first day, I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to finish this by October. But anyway, here's the picture of what we're going with. It's, again, like I said, it's not a big deal. A lot of people probably wouldn't know. This is a griffin head from my old high school. It's their mascot is a griffin. This is what they use. This is their head logo for the thing. And I've done the W. I had 3 projects in mind that I always wanted to do in chainmail. Was doing the W, which we've already done. I wanted to do this, either this or the full body. I liked how this one came out. I designed a couple of them. This was my favorite, so ended up going with this, and I still want to do a Tonka Bands one. So, and this is I'm hoping to donate this to the school. We'll see what happens. It's kind of my plan. I'm going to build it and see if they want it. If not, no biggie. I still will keep it myself. But there's always, whenever I had like the W, it was kind of a thing. I wanted to do it, but there needed to be kind of a reason in a way. And that one I gave away to a departing band director at the time. And I want to do that then. This one I kind of want to do for school because I'm getting ready to have part of my personal pages. I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame of my old high school. So I wanted to make something, see if they might want it. So this is what we're going with, and that's what we've been working on. We might show it again at the end, but I do want to go ahead and get started on this, so I don't have much to edit out for my time lapse. So we'll see how all that goes. And I probably didn't need quite nearly that many of these, but we're just going to go ahead and get started back into it. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot we only get about a line done in a stream, so I want to go ahead and get started as quick as I can. Yesterday got a pretty good day chance into it and some time, but still got the house stuff to do and all that. So it's a grip in, not a grip on. That's how it's spelt, with an I. So that is plan. Like I said, this is line 30 now of 115. I'm hoping that I can get it done by October 13th is the latest. How did I screw that up in this one already? I really want to get done probably a week before that at the latest, so I can figure out how I want to hang it. I still don't know how I want to hang it yet. Everything, when it comes to hanging, most of the time I do just hang them on a rod of some sort. Depending on how I attach it to that rod's a different story. But normally I like to do a single hang. Some people use some little, not grommets, but just little pieces to attach it. But that kind of bunches up. It wouldn't bunch up on this one though, because it is so tight. We're using the 3/16 inch 16 gauge. Well, and I will say one thing I have noticed in doing this is I mostly it's all been using Chainmail Joe. I've got all his colors, got quite a few pounds and many different colors, and so I wanted to kind of get through some of it, but they didn't have a frost. Well, I only even put that through one, that's why. So I had to get TRL's frost, and it's definitely, even though both packages say blah blah blah, they're supposed to be the same size. Wire thickness, they're actually really close, which is not necessarily surprising, but inner diameter is quite a bit different in a way. I was getting with the definitely bigger on the TRL ones, and pretty consistent with all of their 3/16 inch 8 or 16 gauge, and same likewise with Chainmail Joe's between the different colors and stuff. They're all within, you know, 0.00 something of each other, so they're rather close. But between the two companies, they're not close. I'm trying to think of what it was. I don't remember I was at 5 millimeter on the Chainmail Joe here. I was at 5.4, 5.6 inner diameter, 0.6, 0.5 right in there, and on TRLs I was at 0.12, 1.3. So not a huge difference, but there is a difference. I could tell when I started working on the white, the frost within these, just how the rings were going in compared to how I've been working with just the red and the gold, which were all Chainmail Joe. So I have to mix them though, because I needed that white, the frost look. I didn't think silver would pull off exactly what I want to. Frost normally does pretty good as a white substitute, since you can't have white. I was thinking maybe it was just the coating was different, because I know even the frost is hard to get. It's more of a matte color anyway. Actually, when you go to look it up, you got to look in the matte section for it. Kind of screws me up. Again, that's why I missed the old website for them. I about ordered the wrong stuff, like $200 worth of wrong stuff the other day. A week ago or so ago, I was needing some more frost. I needed a 1/4 inch for the jersey that we're going to be working on, and I was still in there, and I needed red, gold. I needed some of my normal colors that I needed to get, and not thinking that I was still in the matte section, because it's just one page now, kind of weirdness. So yeah, I luckily I normally, I mean, I always check my order and stuff, but for some reason I wanted to look at that when they order a little bit closer, and I happened to look at it and it said matte. Well, I also got a bunch of green, trying to get my rings done for the other end zone that I'll be working on here too. Like I said, I've got a ton of inlays, trying to get most of my rings situated for it, so I can just get to them when I can, and I don't have to worry about ordering anything. And then I'm trying to get the last bits of orders that hopefully supplies that I need for the rest of the year in a way. I didn't open that up far enough, did I? No. Normally this time I like to put in kind of mostly what I think I'm going to need for the rest of the year, unless I get a custom order that, you know, I got to order custom for. So, I mean, that's a different story. But we've got the events coming up. We've got Gladfest coming up here at the end of September, just a little over a month. So I need to be getting ready for that too, along with this. So I do have other things going on that I'm trying to get done besides doing this. That's why I said I needed a minimum of probably 2 hours a day on this to get it done in time. Getting a little more than that in it. Some days I probably could have gotten a little more into it, but like I said, I've got other things going on, and you get stuff done around the house too, and then just getting ready for the events that we're going to have coming up. This Gladfest, we're going to do the inside tent version, so it's a totally different setup. I don't have to take our tent around, so I need to get the trailer organized, which I haven't done, but it has been a hot week since Sunday. We've been like 98, 99, 100, 101. We still got like 3, 4 more days. I think they got us on a heat advisory. They put us on that Saturday until Thursday, 10 o'clock, Thursday night. I think Friday we're supposed to still be in the mid 90s. But then we're supposed to have a little cool down coming in Saturday. So, but I don't plan on doing a whole heck of a lot outside this week, unfortunately. Things I need to get done and would like to get done, but it's just, you go out there and, well, this morning was awful. I mean, we didn't get down to, I think, 79 overnight. And it was just foggy, thick fog this morning. Just made it hard to breathe. I opened the door, Buzz was ready to go outside, and we both looked at each other like, really? Which, he is outside right now. I'm going to have to double check, make sure he comes back in here. I might have to get up for a second during the stream and fetch him back in if he doesn't come in on his own. Door's cracked enough where he knows it's open. But I don't want him out there just for very long. I mean, he just goes out there, normally finds his little piece of cardboard, or he'll send under. He's got a piece of cardboard that he likes to sit on that I put out for him for in the little garage shop tent thing. Then he likes to go hang out under the camper or the trailer also, where it's nice and shaded. He never really comes, when he gets up, he's normally never hot. And he comes in, or I go up looking for him, he finally comes to me. It's like, well, you're not even hot. Where were you camping out, being all cool? And he finds the spots out there, but I still, with his nostrils, I don't know if you, again, if you're part of my personal pages and stuff, you've seen pictures of the buzzard. He's got a messed up kind of nose area, so I call it his super nose smeller. It's just one nostril because half his nose is messed up, but there's still a hole there, but it's like half the size. But he loves to put anything he really wants to smell. He'll push that little nostril hole up to it and just breathe in like crazy through that nostril. So I call it a super smeller because he'll go to town sometimes when he wants to really smell something. Well, he'll just push his half nostril going to town on it. So it's a little harder for him to breathe when it's thick out there. Now, granted, the humidity is cut down a bit since this morning, so that does help because it was just so thick. I mean, we've been having 99% humidity overnights. Normally barely cutting it down to about 80% during the afternoon if we're lucky. It's not been a fun week. Looking forward to some cool weather now. I'm kind of hoping that this October starts out pretty decent. Give me some highs of 70 and lows of 50s. I'll be a happy camper for a few months or a few weeks. Because it won't last long. Well, I don't even really mind the cold. It's when it gets super cold. Once you get down below 40, that's when I'm not really happy. 40 and above, 40 and sunny during the winter I do like. I can still get out and do stuff as long as it ain't snowy, and I don't like it snowy and sunny. That's blinding. But I'm definitely ready for my winter. A lot of people always say, don't talk like that, you'll regret it. No. If you know me and been around long enough, you know I'd much rather be in the winter. I do much better in the cool than the hot. So actually, that's why Gladfest normally is a nice one. It's I've been doing, not as a business doing Gladfest, but I've been going to Gladfest for like 20 years now. So I've been, normally with the band, doing the band stuff. So it was only last year's first year since I didn't do band. We finally got in as business, and actually it was a little cool in the morning. Not too bad in the afternoon, a little cool at night again, but not bad. So I was okay with that, and there have actually been some warmer ones through the years, and we've actually had a few Gladfests where it was freezing cold, breezy. I think it was probably 6-7 years ago. I think it was like 34, 35 by the time the band got off the buses and stuff, and that was a pretty gnarly one. Snake Saturday, which happens in March every year down in Northtown, is about the same way. We've had from nice days to that one I've never seen a snow that I can remember on Gladfest. I do remember a couple snows, because Gladfest is always the first Saturday weekend of October, and so October 1st falls on a Sunday, I guess, so this year it's a little earlier, kind of like last year. Most time it's around my birthday. I've had many Gladfests on my birthday, but it's the week after that. I think it's the second Tuesday of the month is when up in St. Joe, Mo West, they have band competition going on. And so there have been a couple snows on that day. So, 10 days into the month we've had a few snows, but never there, but we've had cold ones. This year, like I said, we're going to do the inside. Well, it's not inside, it's the giant tent. They have a big giant tent for vendor area, or you can set up on your own on a street kiosk. And last year, that's what we did with the street kiosk, and it was okay, other than the parking lot, which I was hearing last year was just a weird thing. Normally, it's out on the streets, but they had to do the parking lot because of construction going on. I don't know the full details of that. Trying to get information from them sometimes is hard, but I don't know where the street ones are going to be this year, but I wanted to try the inside one, see what it was like, because there you don't have to provide your own light at night, which will be a plus in a way. I don't know how bright it'll be. I never actually got to make it over to the tent last year to see what was going on with that, because it was like on the opposite side of everything that was going on. I mean, it wasn't huge, but it was several blocks down to get over there to it. I didn't want to leave the daughter hanging out too long there. We were both taking breaks because she likes to help. Well, she does help. I don't know if she likes to help, but she does help me, which I definitely appreciate it, because I know I can't do an event by myself. It would have been hard even younger days, but it's near impossible with the amount of stuff. Maybe I shouldn't take as much stuff. I got so much stuff, though. I want to be able to show off everything. I think that's part of the problem. I can keep making stuff and keep making stuff and just keep making stuff. I can't stop. Just want to keep going. I always want to try new weaves, different weaves than I've done, so I add to that. I was actually thinking about it a couple weeks ago. I was like, how many weaves? Because I've always tell people whenever they look at the bracelet, my bracelet displays, between everything on that bracelet display, there's roughly about 45 to 50 different weaves on it. And, I was thinking about how many weaves do I actually know that I've built, and I don't even know what that number is. I was trying to think about it, and I was like, I don't even know how I could probably figure it out after, and if I did, ever. Like I've said, I want to put I have spiral notebooks that I keep notes in whenever I do a new weave, for times, ring sizes, different, if I can make it in different sizes, blah, 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 blah. It's just stuff I write down whenever I'm doing it. And I've got 3 giant spirals plus 2 small spirals. Not page-wise, they're still the same count, the big, thick ones. And even my small ones are just like half size, but still have the same many pages. I got 2 of those. I could go through them all and figure them out. And then there would also be another handful of ones that I've done, but I won't do again because I didn't like how they're built. They just... I've talked about it before. Some just don't have the oomph. They like to fall apart, kind of. I mean, the weave doesn't hold together real nicely, per se. So, those, there's been a few that I like how they look, but they just won't hold their stuff. So, alright, come on. Put that stopper ring in there. Always makes this last one of a color roast. A booger. There we go. Just on back down. There we go. Probably didn't need to put the stopper in there here lately. If I'm under 30 count, I normally will just count them out. If I go over that, kind of display and depends. So, but we're on to Next color here. I'm in row 30. A little bit of counting here for a while as I get this, because we're getting into the eye area of the griffin now. We just got like the, I kind of call it the eyebrow, but it's just the shadow of the top. Doesn't really fill in until you get that second row black in there. But by Thursday, hopefully, by Thursday I'll have, we're going to get this one done. I hope to get another, hopefully row and a half, 2 rows done today. It kind of depends. I'd like to get more, but again, then tomorrow hopefully I'll get another 3. So hopefully we'll have a good chunk by Thursday. Probably won't look a ton different by Thursday, but there will be a difference compared to the bigger difference you've seen today from the other day. Well, it looks like I am not seeing anything again over here. I hate this. I really need to figure out a better way of doing that. Watching for comments, because Facebook and my laptop just do not work well together. I've been trying to update it. I did kind of give up a little bit ago because it frustrated me, and I got it to enough where it was working. Alright, I think we're back to working. We're gonna hope anyway. Oh, I'm not muted, so at least I know that. Still working. Come on, mousey. I need to get another mouse for this laptop too. Oh, why do you... This mouse, it's an old wireless mouse, but it's probably 15 years old now. Easy. It still works, but it's a pain in the butt. It's missing its battery cover. Constantly pushing the battery back in. It drives me about bonkers sometimes, but I mean, it's like I said, it's worked. I've tried to. I've gotten some cheapies wireless, and they just don't seem to work. They end up going away pretty quickly because they just don't connect or this or that. I guess I had a decent one, but the wife was needing something and the daughter was, so they kind of borrowed that one together anymore. So, I mean, that was an okay one. But I have had 2 of them actually that were just toast within a matter of a week. It was just like, what was the point? And again, that's why you should spend the money on the good ones, I guess. I did try to go cheapy, but that's one I've had for, like I said, forever. My mom actually had it forever before. She gave it to me because she had upgraded, and it floated around with an old laptop. Well, actually, my old laptop that I got from my mom 15 years ago or so. It still kicks to do laser stuff. Was kicking to do laser stuff. Now I need to replace it because CPU fan went out, and I can't, well, there are kind of replacements for it, but I hate opening up laptops. I've never had good luck on opening up laptops. 36, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Yeah. So I'm kind of afraid to get in there and do it. I mean, like I said, it's older than dirt anyway. I could use a newer one. I just don't want to spend the money on a new one. That's what I originally bought. The one I'm using now for watching my video and whatnot was originally for that, but yeah, it's more, I mean, it struggles just at viewing web pages in the stream, so in a way that's actually a little bit more complicated than what the laser needs in a way. It might sound a little weird, but because it really doesn't take a whole lot for the laser, because most of the processing behind the scenes, but once you kind of get the basics of that done, the process of actually doing laser work's simple. So for the computer anyway, processing to get there, it's kind of like if you've done any 3D printing and you got to slice it up. Slicing up can take a while, but once that's done, there's everything ready. So it's kind of about the same with lasering. A little different with some of the applications, but basics are still the same. It's kind of like whenever I try to explain the AR rings. Not a lot of people when they're at your booth want to talk about that. Some get a little more interested in it because we talk about how, here's a bracelet in 2 different sizes. Why, it's the same weave, same length. Why is it 2 different prices? But they look the same. Well, they look the same, but the smaller one, even though it's the same AR, and then you kind of get into the AR talk. And Like, you kind of think about it how, and some people don't understand this either, about tire ratios. The numbers on your tires is a ratio between your width and your depth of your tire. And that's where you get your whatever over whatever. It's kind of the same thing with rings. But, once you find the AR you like, as long as you can find AR in a different gauge wire, you can make the same thing, just be smaller. It's like this here, well, this one I couldn't, but the Chiefs inlays that I do, I could shrink those up to 1/8 inch 20 gauge rings. The thing is, it's going to take me the same amount of time to do it, if not a little longer, because the rings are so much smaller. But overall, the piece, instead of being 19, 20 inches wide, is now 4 or 5 inches wide. It's going to be so tiny, and well, I haven't really done any tiny inlays, just because inlays can take a while, and smaller the ring you go, the more it's going to take, and then you got to. A lot of people do understand it once ones that have seen chainmail and understand chainmail get it. Some don't quite, but when you kind of go through the process, they're like, man, that is, most everybody realizes chainmail, yes, that's going to take forever. I get the same saying 100 times, you got some patience. I'm like, I guess in a way. Kids wouldn't agree with that, but it's kind of relaxing though sometimes to do it. Sometimes a little frustrating, I will admit. But everybody's going to have their good days or bad days when it comes to, anything you do. So try not to let the bad days get too much ruin over the good days. I used to all the time. But that's, wisdom with age, I guess, in a way. I'm getting older. And most of it, so I just don't want to deal with anything either. I've never been a drama guy. I don't want to deal with drama. Like, if you want to deal with that, see ya. I just want to mostly survive and have a decent time. I won't have to deal with all the extra nonsense. Alright, is that correct? That just seems... Look at my... Yeah, I guess that's right. That looked weird on my paper. We need 20 frost now. These I'll count out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 20, right? Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, like I said, these are a little bit different. I'm hoping it's not going to affect it too much. Little bits I don't think would be a big thing, but I do have a pretty big chunk of white, frost, whatever you want to call it, here in the middle. Has me a little concerned once I have that many rows, because more than half of it once I get down, below the beacon and everything. The rest of it is mostly white all the way down, so I'm a little concerned I might be a little saggy in the middle. But not a whole lot I can do about it, and hope for the best. And I guess I should say I'm not going to offer to donate it to the school unless I'm happy with it. If I get done and I'm not liking it, then that's not going to be an option. And like I said, I don't know if they would even want it, but I think it would be kind of neat, just one-on-one, because I have it. 2, I want to see chainmail everywhere. So to have it in my old school would be cool, but if not, if they don't want it, or I don't like it enough to want to donate it to them, I'll keep it for myself and take it to shows to show off, because I probably wouldn't sell it. That's the 3 school ones I want to do. I never thought I would end up selling anyway. They were just, I want to do them for a purpose, a reason, kind of type thing. Like I said, this one I'm kind of doing because of the Hall of Fame things coming up. If they want it, they can take it. If not, that's cool. It just works out to be built at a good time. So, and then I got the final one. Hopefully, I don't know when I'll do it either. Those are the 3 school ones I've already wanted to do. I honestly thought the first one I ever did would be a Tonka Bands one. And then it ended up being the W. And then with 2 of them left, I figured, okay, the Tonka Band one's going to be next. And it was something I was kind of figuring I would do in the next couple years. Now that I wasn't helping out, I was like, well, maybe a good time to go ahead and get it going. And then all this kind of came up, and so kind of backwards order of how I originally thought these would come to be. Well, like I said before, I've got, these were 3. Well, I've gotten one of them done now. I'm going to have 2 out of the 3 done. That was just Tonka related. I've got the Chief stuff. I've still got another 4 or 5 of those planned. I've got a happy face one that I designed that I want to do. I've got, what was I'd have to look, because I actually have the first drafts of designs for about probably 30 other, and that's the thing, I know there's no way I could ever get 30 more inlays done in my life, to be honest with you. I don't see it happening. Some of these inlays can take a while, depending on how quickly I can work. Some things, even though they still took a lot of hours, I got them done quickly because I had enough hours to get them done quick enough. Other times, like the end zone, that took us, I think it was 80 hours for the end zone, the Chiefs end zone that we did, but there were some weeks that I didn't get nothing done on it, so kind of just depends on how much work I can actually get into them. The beginning of this year was just the craziness. Now I'm trying to get through and get set up for events, so there will be some more, but event-wise, there's a handful of things I need to bake for the table. A few things that I've been wanting to add. Into my stainless steel collection and whatnot, but so nothing. I don't need anything super major. I'm not in the need of anything super major. Oh, heat come in. I can feel the heat. Hopefully he stayed in. Yeah, he came in to get something to drink, but then went back out. So he's just sitting out there in the shade, though. How much time we got? Where we at? We're a half an hour in. About right, though. I should be a little bit further along than this, but again, streaming. We chit-chatted there at the beginning for a little bit. Now my phone went off and it stopped, so it must have been a junk call that I've gotten 1,000 times before. I hate those junk calls. I don't know, my phone's been getting pretty crazy. Most of them, though, because I have a website and web presence and a business, you get a bunch of the junk calls from, oh, let's raise your score for this, let's do this, that for your business, blah, 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 blah. It's like, and then it's the same call, you block one number, they just call from 10, 15 other, numbers, drives me nuts. Well, I can't get on that. I don't know how. It seems like nobody would fall for these things, but I guess people do, or they wouldn't continue to do them after all these years phone scamming. But I guess enough people get scammed by them and talked into enough people that it makes it still a viable business. But I don't get it, because I've never once done anything like that. You call me on the phone and I didn't want you, I'm not talking to you. If I'm looking for something and I called you first and you're calling me back, that's a different story. But you just call me out of the blue for something, I will not ever buy anything from the line call. Ever. Sorry. And I just don't get it how... I don't know. I've pondered in my brain at times. Because that's the thing. Nobody I know has ever ordered anything from a blind call. So how do they get people to do it? What are the people that are like that get a call going, oh, you know what, maybe, not like the same people that come to the door, you're the roofers and all that stuff that come to the door. I'm like, sorry, I'm not gonna do it, dude. If I want, if I need you, I'm gonna be calling for you. But you can't, it's okay maybe once in a while, but we get them constantly. I mean, through the summer, just constant people, lawn cares and this and that for stuff I don't need. The thing that I do need, they never come by for. All right. But would be the odder things, because I mean, like I said, I'm in the search. I need like two guys in a moving truck. But I need 2 guys, an excavator, and a dumpster. That's what I need right now. I don't know how to look that up. Has been the biggest issue. I don't know where to even attempt to do. That's not something out of the normal thing I've ever needed to have done type thing. So trying to find that. Well, I mean, you try to find it cheap, but it's not going to be cheap. Kind of like what was that? There's the little meme or whatever it is. There's 3 things, you get to choose 2 of them. You get cheap and good, or fast and good. So it's cheap, fast, and good is your 3 options, but you only get to pick 2. Something like that. I can't remember the exact, but it's pretty accurate. And I get it. I run my own business, so I get it. You want to make your money, so I do get it, but I also don't want to spend the money. Chain mail is definitely harder to make you pay the bills. You work your butt off for it, I will say that. Unlike some of those things, that was a weird noise. Maybe my phone finally remembered to do something right. 21. Let me count these out. Then I'll get into the phone. I've been trying to do some things with my phone. It's been driving me absolutely bonkers lately. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. That's an ugly one. 21, 18, 20, 21. But my phone has been doing weird things. It won't download messages whenever somebody leaves a voicemail. It used to do that, and then it started stopping and giving me issues. I've been playing around with the phone trying to do it. I don't know what I did to this stupid thing, because I was just in there poking around. When it comes, you give me a PC. I mean, I've built my own PCs for the last 20 years. Whenever I need a new one, I'll buy the parts. I'll build my PC. I know that, every time a new operating system comes out, I eventually learn all that. But man, when it comes to a smartphone, I'm a dummy. I do not know where these and that and settings are and do all those stuff. People fly around on their phones and all that stuff, and I just feel like an idiot. But I was in there trying to do some setting changes I wanted some notifications to change properly and work right, because I've never gotten some things to work the way I wanted to. But somehow I've changed the background screens that constantly change, only like on the lock screen or something, and I can't figure out where I changed that setting. But now I got all kinds of weirdness coming up on my lock screen, which makes it hard to read messages without having to open up the phone. And when I was trying to change the different beeps you get for text messages, between phone call, missed message, all my notifications all made the same glurky sound. I don't know if you ever hear it. It just did it a second ago. Whether it be security camera, text message, whatever, they all come up as that. And I'm trying to figure out how I can change that up for each thing, so I know what's being sent without having to get to it per se. Was it a text message or was it a security camera thing? Because sometimes, if it's a security camera because I'm outside and it's activating because of me, I don't need to pick up my phone to look at it every time. So, trying to figure that stuff out has been kind of a pain, but I did something. Now I've got some weird tones coming up, and I just heard some weird tone. I don't know if it finally changed. It wasn't security, because I know the security tone hadn't changed. It was just coming up earlier this morning doing the same thing. Played with a little Saturday. And then Sunday, I was just kind of all mad at it because the background pictures had changed. I was having a hard time reading this and that. Oh, phones, I hate them. I guess that's when you get old. I love technology, but I'm almost to the point of, I think we've gone too far with technology. It's like, we could have paused a little bit, guys. We were doing fine. And then we just keep doing more and more. Oh, we got here 40 minutes. I wanted to be further along than this by now. But, like I said, doing a stream, I'm talking, always takes a little bit longer. So I am filming it, and I think that's what's taking part of the length of time, because I can't be how I normally am when I'm doing anything. The only thing I do miss about doing inlays is not doing a time lapse of them. I didn't do a time lapse of Jones, and it kind of ticked me off afterwards. Because I like how it came out, and I was like, man. Now I got it done in a way a bit quicker. I didn't have to worry about some other things on it, but so I don't know if I'll ever do another one without a time lapse. But doing the time lapse does make it take a bit longer. Overall, I mean, not a ton longer. I mean, when you're talking 50 hours, and is an hour much when it comes to 50 hours of work? Maybe not. I mean, hours over a 3-hour period might be different, but, you know, an extra hour over 50, 75 hours of work is a lot different. So, it's about on average, it seems like on an average stream, whenever I've had to cut out any exonerating stuff, and then watching the video when I'm not doing a stream, talking, making sure, looking around to see if anybody's talking, whatever, it's still a bit slower, and then I can actually even go a little bit faster when I'm not even just doing any camera work, because I've timed myself on that. But that's mostly just because, again, I can get the piece right up in my lap, kinda. I'm hovering right over it. I can see everything a lot better, so everything's just quicker moving when I can be right on top of it. So that is one thing that kind of blows on doing the inlays with a time lapse, because I have no time, because I'm recording it all the time, so I'm not really doing any of this in my lap. Actually, I think it was 2 inlays ago. I guess it wasn't an inlay. Well, I mean, it was, give or take, when we were doing the chessboard, when I was doing the brass and aluminum chessboard, it's basically an inlay, but, I mean, that's kind of debatable in a way. I mean, if you go outside of doing certain things, it's not going to be a checkerboard, so, I mean, in a way, it is an inlay. I did another inlay on the side of that. That's when I was working on doing another small, I do the music note, but I was doing a music, or the music staff, I was doing a music note, and I was making a smaller one, did it outside of the stream, doing any video with it or anything. It was just so much quicker. Now, granted, it was a lot smaller, too. It was one of those that, I think it maybe took me like 3 hours to do. That's about, when I make these smaller music staff ones, that's about what it is. About 3 or 4 hours for one of those small ones. Especially if I'm not doing it on a stream or whatnot. I can get anything done quicker that way. Got a lot of orders, unless, I do like having orders. We did the earring order. We did that on a stream. It took longer, obviously, but if somebody wants to have some custom order that they have done and want to have a watch built, it can do that. It will take longer to get to you because we'll have to get it into days of where they're streaming. But we can do that. Otherwise, I kind of like the custom orders. I had a couple ties here recently. Didn't do those on. Now, I did do the couple ties that we were doing the tops for that are my ties, but before that, I actually had a couple other ties to do. Late spring, I guess, is when I had those two orders of ties. Didn't do any streaming or video of them. Just got them built and got them out. Honestly, didn't even get pictures of it. Yeah, I suck at getting pictures anymore, man. Daughter was such a big help on that, and trying to find an area I can set up where it's dedicated to pictures. But every time I try to get that set up, it gets overtaken by something else, this or that, whatnot. Always something. Part of it, I can't do it anywhere in the upper side of the house, upper part of the house because of the cats. They just love to sit on everything. Down here, I have a Buzzy, but he gives me some issues, but he's not too bad. But I just don't have a ton of room here. I was trying to set up in our other half of the basement. It's not, I call it now storage, but it's not really storage. We set it up to be a playroom for the grandkids. They don't really come over as often anymore, once COVID hit and all that. But also, it kind of got overtaken with Booga box stuff. So, that was kind of a bummer too. But, so I was trying to set up place in there, but again, it just got overtaken. I got our old attic fan that we had when we bought this place was an awesome freaking attic fan. Motor went out in it, and they no longer make a motor for it. This attic fan was probably 40 years old, but I took it out, not thinking much about it. We replaced it with a new one, and the new one just totally blows chunks. We've had problems with it ever since we put it in. But as soon as we did that, I was like, okay, I'm keeping the old attic fan. I'm going to see if there's some way I can figure out some way of getting another motor that'll work with it, and all that. So I kept it. It was stored outside for a while. It was just, I didn't want it to get too weatherized, so now, that's another thing that we've added over there. And, that's the thing. It's just little things like that add up. We've got a whole rolling, I use a bunch of the Amazon 5 shelf rolling metal shelves. We got, one for crafts, one for games. I used 4 or 5 for Booga box stuff. So it makes more room. I can tuck them into holes, but, we got one that's got instruments all over it. We got several clarinets. I got the plastic trombone, the clarinet parts. Actually been thinking about doing some chainmail designs with some clarinet keys. Something that's been in my brain for a while that I'd like to do, but it'd definitely be a select crew because, one, you got chainmail. That, a lot of people don't know that right off the bat. They're like, chainmail jewelry. So you get past that, then you got the ones that do, then you have to get the ones that are into music, possibly wanting a clarinet key, piece. So you keep narrowing it down to, you got to find that right person for that right piece, type thing. So I want to build it. Eventually, I might find that clarinetist that wants a key necklace of some sort made with chainmail. Alright. But you never know. That's the whole thing. Sometimes, I would have never thought I'd making a Chiefs chainmail flag for somebody at one point, and I've done it. So I've done a few odder things out there when it comes to chainmail. That's, I think I've said it a few times on here. It's one reason why I want to do our local Renaissance Festival, but a lot of my stuff doesn't fit into their mold per se. They have several things they want you to do and act and be, and I get it. It's the whole setup, but I have many things that are more modern that I wouldn't be able to actually take with me and show off there because of, electricity. That's wizardry, type thing. And I have a bunch of lamps, modern inlays of people. I don't know. The lamps I know I couldn't do. The people, I don't know how they would feel about it because I have other inlays that are just music and stuff related. So, but they're not, maybe they're older people, maybe, I don't know. But our Renaissance Fair here is a little different than some other places that have, ours runs for 6 weeks, has 6 weekends. I don't want to say it's big, but I have seen a lot of other places, Renfest, that, that are just a weekend long, that's it. So, I need 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, alright? Yeah. So, and I don't know what kind of rules they have there, too, they're not so sticklers about, your pop-up tents looking that, which that's what always gets me. They want you to do so many things that are so, you talk a certain way. I get it. I understand this and that. But then, you got the pop-up tents and with the tent city area they have there. But some of them decorate them out so they look more blend in with the theme of a Renaissance. But most of them just have it popped up as just a normal tent. So, and it's like you guys get so anal on some of this, but then you can just have all these regular tents. It's like either go 100% one way or let some flexibility the other way. With some of the things, And well, and the other big thing is the cost they have through the Ren Fest to get into it. Just a weekend, 2 days for me, basically going to run me about $1,200. Could I make that back during one? Possibly, but I get why the prices there are where they are. Whenever I go, sometimes I've always liked the prices of some of their stuff is insane in my mind because of what I do, but I get it because of the overhead costs they have to be there. And that's the other thing. I don't want to necessarily do it because it's like, do I just raise my prices for that event? But then they can come home and see, well, I just bought that there and I can buy it online now for $5 cheaper than what I bought it here. And some things would be a lot more than that. But so it's like, I don't want that to necessarily play a factor in my ordering, and I don't want to have my online stuff to be so pricey when there's not the overhead of an event. So I don't know. That's one of those things that it drives me nuts when it has come to chainmail, because it's like you try to be, if you're strictly an online seller, you wouldn't have to worry about it because you just say when you're a half and half like I am, it's like because you do have a bit of overhead with events. But I also don't want my stuff to be outrageously priced because, I know I need to bring up my prices. Some chainmailers, I'm a little upset that sometimes I don't charge enough. I don't necessarily want to charge by time, but everything comes down to normally charging at a time, depending on what it is. Some things I've had to take a hit on my hourly time. Some things you can kind of go a little bit more so. But, there's a lot of people that charge $25 an hour for their chainmail, and it's like, I don't know. I have a hard time wanting to charge that much. I mean, I enjoy it and I'd love to, but it just feels like I'm robbing somebody in a way. So, I mean, I do go over minimum wage. Should I go more than that? Probably. It feels so weird to me because, and that's probably part of my problem why I'd never be able to run a big giant corporation business because it would just feel so wrong on so many levels. I just couldn't, I wouldn't be able to do it. It would just be too weird, I think. You gotta be, like they have on the Shark Tank, you gotta be kind of a shark to want to be able to do all that, and I couldn't, too many things, I mean, these guys that own these businesses, they're not going to ever know the line worker to their stuff, which kind of sucks. And that's another thing. I would hate to not know them, but it would suck, just knowing that it'd be good to be able to make the good money of owning a big business like that, but I'd hate to screw over the little guys too, That's why I always say I'm a little right, I'm a little left. It just depends on where you're at. And that's why I don't necessarily want to say I'm an independent either, because that puts you in the category. I don't want to be none of them because I've liked all kinds of different people across many different spectrums. So I don't judge people on their political beliefs at all, because I've got many people that I enjoy hanging out with and doing things with and have worked with that have totally different thought processes on some things, but then we match up on others. So I hate making friends or not friends because of politicalizations. It's like, yeah, you're either a good person overall or not. When it comes to some of that little stuff, some of the things they bicker about between, it's like, it's pointless. So I don't talk about that all that much, because it just drives me nuts. Everybody's going to have their own belief. People want to get into arguments for what they believe in. I kind of get it in a way, but it's also, what's the point? Most time, you're never going to change somebody's mind, especially when you get to the wackadoos on either side. Alright. That's why I don't like to be sides. I just want to be me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, 9, 10, and 11. So where are we at in our time? Man, we're almost up. Our hours almost. We should have gotten this road done by now. Dang it. Yeah, too much looking around. This road, normally going this way, I've been averaging about 50 minutes on a line going this way. So we're definitely a little slower. Again, streams always do that. Me jabbering, having to think about jabbering, looking around, which I don't mind. I do enjoy it. And in a way, I wish people were here, because then I have more fun. Time does go quicker, but I get less done, if that makes any sense. But it is what it is. We get some done. I did get, I probably got about half an hour, 40 minutes in this morning. Didn't get a whole lot. I did want to do more this morning, but I did get some other stuff done around the kitchen stuff that I should have gotten done last night that I didn't do. And I was trying to, it took me forever to wake up this morning. I didn't have the greatest of sleep last night. Got up a little earlier than normal too. I was half tempted to take a quick morning nap after I did the morning cat issue. I was like, if I do that, it throws off the rest of the day. I want to be up later, but not. When I'm staying up later because I took a nap, it's a non-productive staying up later, if that makes any sense either. I don't want to go to bed because I'm not as tired, but I'm also not oomphy enough to want to do anything major. So it's like, So today I was just like, alright, I'm just going to push it. Try to eat. I made sure I ate my breakfast early, though I did forget to eat before the stream. I've been trying to eat at noon and I did forget. But, I will be going straight to eat something after my stream. Well, after I get the Buzzy in. Buzzy, he did come in, like I said, but he hadn't come back in since I checked on him that time either, so I want him to come in, make sure he gets some water and takes a break. Too hot for anybody out there today. Yeah, I guess it's not really too bad right now. My thermometer's reading 90, I think it's at 95. So, that is in the shade though. I had this thing, we had a little heat wave about 3 weeks ago. I got an outdoor thermometer now that reads the outdoor and electronically sends it to me inside, type thing. But when I got it about 3 weeks ago, before I put it up where I permanently decided where I wanted it, kind of had it sitting out there, and it was going to hit direct sunlight. So it was like, I got it I got it one afternoon. I didn't put it out till later that evening, so the first time I got to really see any good temperatures running on it was the next morning. And I'm looking at it, and I see, I wake up, sun hadn't come out yet. It was reading what about it should be. I think it was like 67 or something, 66 at the time. And as the sun started rolling up, I didn't look at it again until around noon, but it was baking right in the direct sunlight, and it was reading 128. And I was like, what? How in the world did I get a crap? At first I was like, did I get a crap unit? And I'm like, how's it 128? I mean, it was hot outside anyway, but yeah, I had it sitting in the direct sunlight, and so it had heated up the whole unit and the whole, it's just like, yeah. It got moved, and it's definitely much better readings now where I have it. It gives me shades, no direct sun on it. Kind of nice to have though, because the local weathers and everything you look at, I mean, is 1 or 2 degrees that big of a difference? Sometimes, yes. I don't know about you, but sometimes, yes. I will just say that because when our air conditioner was having a hard time pushing 63, 62 degrees once we got it filled. Now, granted, that was 5 degrees, but it has made a huge difference in the house. We're just being blowing 5 degrees cooler. It actually shuts off more often. There for that month before we got it fixed, it was literally not shutting any off. Air conditioner 24/7 just running. Alright. So that kind of bill kind of sucked that month. I'm hoping I gotta wait through probably mid-September before I'll see the difference with everything fixed and everything else going through. So we are at our hour. So while I'm finishing up those last little bits, actually we'll just do 2 more here, and I want to put this on here at the end so we can show the picture again. I forgot my halfway spiel. I wanted to do something there too, so typical Tuesday, I guess, right? Got a case of the Tuesdays. But anyway, I didn't want to thank anybody that's actually stopped by and watched any of us today. If you're watching us later and you made it to the end, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to give us like, thumbs up, shares on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all those good places. Here is our picture of what it's going to be like when we're at the end. We're kind of just now getting to this eye part here. So by Thursday, we should probably be done with the eye for sure. We'll be probably closing in on the top of the mouth here. And hopefully that'll make this look better. Right now, it keeps reminding me of a dinosaur every time I look at it from the side. And I'm not working on it. I'll be like, why am I making a dinosaur? And I think what's that Pokemon? He's a bone guy. I don't know the names of the Pokemon or not, but I know there's some bone looking thing, and this looks like the bone thing to me right now. So, but anyway, I do want to thank everybody that dropped in. Like I said, don't forget to give likes, thumbs up, shares, all that stuff. We will be back on Thursday, so we won't get a whole lot done by then, but we'll get some done. But we will be back Thursday, so I hope you all have a great rest of your week till Thursday, and we'll see you then. Peace.